And we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Live. We have with us from the world of darts and boxing, Chris Mason. Chris, how are you doing?
Very well, Ingram. Yourself?
I'm good. I just think we've reached a stage now where we don't have to be calling these things interviews, but we can just have a talk between two gentlemen.
Yeah, it's like an open conversation.
I guess so, with other people listening in.
Yes. welcome to the modern world.
So how have you been?
Yeah, really good, really good. Just back from London. I was in a studio covering the German Darts Masters for ITV4, which was won by Peter Wright, beat Phil Taylor in the final. And then just been catching up on the weekend's action, and then I'm off to Belgium on Wednesday to cover the Unibet Europeans. So,
okay,
nice couple of days at home ironing some terrible shirts.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've heard. I was meant to ask about your fashion sense. I haven't actually met you in person, but I'm sure we're going to meet sooner rather than later. But I've heard your fashion sense is very interesting.
Yeah, 70s pimp.
Oh, well, that's all right. I mean, when
just lacking the big collars.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. You mean the flyaway collars? You know, like drop you from an airplane and you can. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's all right. At least you've got some sort of fashion sense, and you know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. We'll leave that
there. We will do. Okay. First and foremost, rumors always seem to attach with you. The latest stories that Box Nation have signed you. Is this true?
No. The actual studio I was in over the weekend is the studio that Box Nation use when they're covering events abroad and Bunce's Boxing Hour. So I try and create a few rumors to try and get my dream job. And I always remind Barry Jones he's just keeping my seat warm.
I can't go against Barry's. That's my old good mate there from the gym. But
yeah, great guy. So it's all good banter, but you never know somewhere down the line. But were you up at Dennis Sobson's show?
I was indeed, and I was able to. That was the first thing we were going to talk about. Is Liam Cameron's shock? Well, he wasn't a shock win for me, but his win over Sam Sheedy.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was with you on that one. I think we discussed it briefly. I wasn't massively shocked by that. I think you just got to look. It's so hard sometimes, but if you know your boxing and you know the fighter's resume and where they've struggled in certain areas, if you actually watch a lot of boxing, there's some fights that everyone goes, "Oh my God, that was a big shock." But if you actually know a boxer's strong points and his weak points, and if he's being matched up against a guy that's weak points aren't going to be exposed, yet his strong points are going to expose the other guy. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. It's it's like reading a game of chess.
For me, it was when I actually when I looked into Cameron's eyes. First, it was at the press conference. When I sat down, it was the day before the fight. He was at the press conference, and I looked straight into his eyes, and I saw him itching and looking across at the belt. He couldn't focus.
He was edgy.
Yeah, he was edgy, but he was edgy looking at the belt. His eyes were all on the belt all the time. It was like I thought, well, people would say to me, you're looking into too many things. Then I sat down, did the interview, and I said, let me look at this guy again. And everyone was talking about his weight, and he looked drained. He looked like he's out of a concentration camp. I said, if this guy rehydrates right, if he rehydrates right and he carries that power and that strength with him, he's going to be a handful. And I looked into his eyes, and the last guy I interviewed, when I looked in his eyes and have eyes like that, those sort of steely eyes, was Carl Froch when he had his rematch against George Groves. I remember saying to somebody close to me at the time when I was doing the filming, I said to her, this guy here is dangerous. He is very, very dangerous. And Sheedy's got to watch himself because this guy is coming to win the title. And
he was menacing looking, wasn't he? He almost looked like he knew he was aware of the job in hand, but also also looked very, very confident. And as you say, body language tells us everything. No more so in fighters. I mean, listen, great poker players give nothing away.
Yeah.
Same as great boxers. You know, they give you nothing, even if they've had a bit of a shocker in camp or they're fighting with an injury. They know how to not let on that there is a problem. But yeah, it was not a massive shock for me. A shock all the same, because listen, the bookies very rarely get it wrong. But yeah, I think as you said, the way in the press conferences, just something wasn't right about him.
Yeah, it's just.
It looked a good card, and what I've been reading about. Obviously, like I said, I've been flat out over the weekend, and so I haven't got to see everything yet, but I'm catching up on it. But was it a good card?
Well, it was a good card. We covered the whole card, and you can look on BWTM Sports. We not only covered the whole card, we had the build up before the fight, as you know, and we covered the fight itself and some of the other fights. Tommy Frank, another successful win for him. 5 on the spin was a good win for him. He's an interesting young lad. Got a bit of talent, a bit of skill there, but you know what I love about fighters that don't just have who can just fight, but guys who can articulate themselves. I think those are the guys I'm very interested in, because they're so professional in the way they articulate themselves.
As much as I love, listen, I'm good friends with Eddie here, and I've known him for years, and obviously his dad. And I love all their promotion and the way they do it and everything else. And it's great that it gets, and I'm not a massive fan of it, but casuals or people that would not normally be interested in boxing, they give them interest. The problem is now they have a voice to express this interest and lack of knowledge. But what I really do love is and then this again, no slight on Dennis Hobson, but the smaller promoter guys that haven't got this opportunity, their fighters have to use their opportunities as exposure.
Yes.
So they're the fighters that they get matched hard early on. Because they have to sell tickets. They don't have this hype train to get on board, and then they have to create this fan base first before they get the big bucks. It's and I like that. I like the mentality of those type of fighters.
Absolutely. There were some other fights that happened after that. We had the Chris Eubank Jr. win over the Robot.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? The Machine, the Robot, well, again, another one of these fights where I called it before the fight even started. I said, I saw the way he was coming to the arena, rushing to the arena before the actual fight began with his camp, and I said, this guy is proper hype. And I said, if he doesn't calm himself down, he's going to run into something. And that was when he came into the arena. Eubank, on the other hand, was very calm and composed. And then when he was coming to the arena for the fight, he was almost running to the ring like a school bully walking for the corridors.
There was all that nonsense at the press conference as well.
Well, yeah. That was
the worry for me, because even if the fighter's not already showing signs of concern, his camp work and his trainer, which was a bizarre moment. But I have to say, the last 18 months can be nothing but impressed with Eubank. As you know, I covered the fight with Abraham.
Yes.
Beforehand, he was cold, man. He was calculated, and he's a really big guy. I mean, I didn't question him moving up to 168, but I'd met him about 3 years ago, and he not quite filled out by that point, but he must stand 5'11" or just over. But he's very thick set, very wide, looks rangy, and now he's filled out and he looks really strong. And listen, if you're going to come out and start trading with him, he will time you up and knock you out. I don't care who you are, Groves, whoever he fights at 168, Smith. If you start letting your hands go, he will time you up and knock you out. Because, I mean, we've discussed this before. He didn't have that one punch concussive power at 160 because his style doesn't allow him to. He never planted his feet. He unloads with a shot, and he's looking to switch and throw another shot off of it. And those kind of fighters very rarely have power unless you're in front of him or you're in the pocket with him when you start to trade.
Yes.
Very, very impressive. And he's now my pre-tournament favourite was Callum Smith. I thought he looked very, very ordinary and struggled, and that was just a small climbing class. And I think Groves or Eubank is a much bigger golfing class again. And I could see Callum Smith maybe struggling against either.
Well, I called out Callum Smith a long time ago. I always questioned whether he really thought he was one of the best in the world. He declined the fight against Ramirez. He declined the Durrell fight. He had the DeGale fight there. All those fights he declined. Never fought anybody in the top 10, and he had the WBC ranking for 2-3 years. I've never been convinced about Callum Smith, and it started to unravel against Eric Sutherland. And there's one guy you need to keep your eye out for, and we've been focusing on him very much so, is Rob Brand, who fights this weekend against Jürgen Bremer, trained by Derek James. Rangy.
I'm amazed Bremer's still fighting.
Yeah, I am too. I can't believe it. Well, I don't know why he'd come at 40 or with 40 or 39 or 40, come down from light heavyweight down to super middleweight. That surely can't be doing anything for his body.
Oh my goodness, no. Not at his age, and how many training camps he's been in. That can't be healthy, and boiling down to make that weight after his campaigning so long up a weight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be as shocked there if Brand don't stop him.
Well, Brand's team, they're talking to knocking him out inside. Well, they want to knock him out because they don't want the fight going to points because they're in Germany and all the rest of it. So that's what they want.
Yeah, he can lose every round 10-8 and still come out with a 117-110 card.
On the subject of that, I believe that Stephen Allman was on a fight this weekend on Sky Sports Matchroom card, and from what I heard, the scores were quite disgusting.
Yeah, it was a shocker.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a shocker. I watched it this afternoon.
What happened?
And I think we had on that subject, there was a 117-110 card in that, which is just bizarre. It's getting we used to have them years ago. You'd have the odd one come up that was questionable, or a bit of a hometown decision. But you had to feel for the guy. I think he won the fight by a few rounds, maybe 2, maybe 3. And it was a good competitive fight. Again, this is the very reason I think judging should be done in a room with no sound and off a monitor, so you actually get to see the fight. It's like, listen, as much as I love being ringside, I actually love watching boxing at home because you get to see everything.
Yes.
When it's ringside, the ref can be in your way. Sometimes the corner post can be in the way, or you can see the back of the fighter that's pushing forward, and you don't see a lot of the shots. And obviously the judge was massively influenced by the home crowd's reaction to shots that weren't scoring shots, and aggression that wasn't really counting for anything. And I listened to the interviews afterwards. I think it was Pascal Collins.
Yes.
And fair play to you. He said, "Look, we're not interested in a rematch. We know what happened in that fight. We'll move on." And it was a shame because it tainted what was a decent scrap.
That just seems to be the way at the moment on those particular cards. I think maybe 5 judges. I was talking to Rick Glazer, the well-known promoter in America, a matchmaker, and he said that 5 judges would do the job.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, it's flawed. The idea is flawed. Judges are influenced by crowd reaction. Maybe if it was done behind closed doors, they wouldn't feel pressured. They won't be able to see, they won't be able to catch a glance of another judge's scorecard to be influenced. And like I say, silenced off a monitor, and they'll get to see the whole fight. They won't miss a thing. They won't miss a punch. They won't miss an exchange. You know, you can so often see it at ringside, and they look like the punches are sort of almost landing, but they're being taken on the glove, or they're being taken on the shoulder, or being taken on the arm. But they're not scoring punches. Punches being thrown that don't hit the target are not scoring punches. And I don't care how many punches are thrown. If they're defended, they're not a scoring punch. But you can get influenced by that and the crowd's reaction. So, I'd like to see something. Maybe the Sauerland boys, they've sort of like changed things up with their, the Ali Trophy and things like that. Maybe it's something they'll introduce. I know they introduced something that prevents a fight from being a draw.
Wow, yeah, I'd like to see how that. I like to see how that actually works itself out. Come if it gets that close.
Yeah. I'm no Mensa, but I'm not daft. I've tried to sort of like, read it through. It's it'd be interesting to find out what happens if we ever reach that point, but I don't think it will. The fighters and money involved, I don't think it will. I don't think it'll ever get to that.
Actually, you said you're not Mensa. You know who just came to my mind? Nicky Piper. Where's Nicky Piper? Do you remember Nicky Piper?
Yeah. I went to an awards do with Nicky Piper. Great fighter, really smart guy.
Yeah.
Really smart guy. And I used to enjoy his punditry work and commentary.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good.
What happened?
Obviously, he didn't toe
the line.
line.
Yeah. Nicky Piper. God, that was a name that is. Because you said Mensa, and the first person I thought was Nicky Piper. Very.
Did he fought
Ben?
Did he fight Joe Calzaghe?
No, he fought Ben. He came down to middleweight and fought Ben, and he got knocked out in the last. He never won a world title. He got knocked out by Tyrone Boozer, and I was a big Nicky Piper fan. And he fought Crawford Ashley as well. Yeah, Nicky Piper. Wow. Yeah, while I'm at it, while we're at it, the whole nostalgic thing about boxing back then, ringside, Paul Dempsey, Ian Dark, Glenn McCrory, that whole team then. You had your good fights coming from America, like a magazine show. There was a standard there. I would say they were the standard bearer back then. Now we have a problem.
Staying up late at night on cable for Ian Dark and McCrory,
yes.
Ian Dark and John Rowling.
Yes.
Great commentary, great production.
There we go.
So much less BS. They called it as it was. They weren't worried about upsetting anybody that might then affect them keeping their job. People want to hear the truth. They're not interested in, listen, if a fighter, and he gets beat, that's it. You just swallow and move on.
Unfortunately, we've got a situation, and I think Spencer Ferron sadly summed it up. He called Carlos Takam as strong as George Foreman. Did he? I must have read that wrong. Did I read that wrong?
Yeah. I mean, the guy's just a smidgen over 6 foot. Got effectively manhandled by Povetkin. That was a great fight, but I think that was about 2014, somewhere around there. To be honest, that was one of the better heavyweight fights I can think of off memory. But comparing him to George Foreman is, he's had he has his reasons. Listen, I don't mind Spencer. I listened to some of his stuff. I was listening to his interview with Amir.
It wasn't.
Regards fighting Brooke.
Was it Spencer? Or was it Johnny Nelson?
Could have been Johnny Nelson.
Johnny Nelson. Apologies, Spencer.
Johnny Nelson is a typical. He's just a company man, and he's embarrassing, really. To be honest, I didn't think he was the greatest fighter in the world, and he's certainly not the greatest pundit in the world. He just he seems to think he's got to say what everybody wants to hear, like what we want to hear. Where it's completely the opposite. Well, I don't want to hear nonsense like that. I mean, he makes some right random comparisons that just leave me just wondering. How can a guy who spent his life around, the Ingalls and great fighters, and he wasn't a bad fighter, he wasn't my cup of tea as a fighter, but he just talks so much nonsense. It's just bizarre.
But he he could find a 50-50 fight between Godzilla and he'd make that 50-50 fight. He'd say, yeah, we know the 50-50 fight between this guy, and you never know what could happen if, and there's these things, and you're thinking, well, how did you come to that conclusion? But that's what the people who don't know think. Oh, it's Johnny Nelson. He's on Sky. He knows what he's talking about. So I'll pay my £20 just for that 50-50 because it's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
They wouldn't even make an area title fight.
Well, there you go.
That's why Sky love him. He just talks nonsense. You know, and I mean, you look at Sky now. I mean, some of the guys that they have had involved in, you know, not just boxing, other sport. You know, even their presenters. I mean, the people doing their boxing. I mean, surely just you know, just swallow whatever the agenda is and get the best people for the job. Because currently they don't have the best people for the job. And you know, people at home are not interested in if someone's had a row or someone's done something a little bit wrong away from the TV cameras. Just I want to hear from the people that know what they're talking about. And at the moment they don't have them. I mean, Froch is just as bad. I mean, some of his commentary and his scoring of fights would be enough for me if I was, you know, the producer or the guy that hire and fires. Yeah, he had a great fire, great career, great moments on Sky. But that doesn't mean he's going to make the greatest pundit or the greatest commentator. It's just, you know, it's very much like Adam Smith. Listen, love his passion for the sport, knows nothing about it. He's like you know, listen, he's book smart. He might be history smart, but he just doesn't understand boxing. And you know, people that are paying, especially with Sky, you know, you pay for that privilege to listen to that nonsense. And I just don't get why they still keep their jobs.
But the thing is, where does it end? Where do you draw a line? Who's going to draw the line? Who's going to be the person that says, who's going to say, you know what, this is unacceptable? Ofcom? Who's?
Well, eventually the demographic of people who watch sport are those that are also tech savvy, and I know very few people now that pay. I think my parents pay about 120 odd quid a month for their Sky package. And apart from them, I don't know many other, apart from some really rich people who can't be asked to have a dodgy box or you know, something that plugs into TV. And all the generation of kids coming through now, they're not going to pay to watch TV. They get their laptop or their tablet and they press a button and it fires onto their TV screen, or they've got a smart TV. They sit there with their remote control and they got the boxing up there for free. And you only need like a quarter, you know, I think 25 to 30% of their current subscribers to carry on doing that of their current subscription, and they're banging trouble. And trust me, the next 2, 3, 4 years it's going to be so much easier and they can try and block streams and do whatever they want. It's impossible. It's never going to happen. There was illegal boxes going around when the era we were talking of the great boxing commentators.
Of course, I remember the Sky boxes, yeah.
And having cable TV, everybody had dodgy boxes then. And the demographic now of people that are watching boxing, they're going to be people that are tech savvy, and they won't be paying for nothing. And then that's going to be the end of pay-per-view TV. Ultimately, technology will eliminate pay-per-view TV, and then it will go back to the fact that we might only get 4 massive fights a year that are pay-per-view worthy.
So we'll go back to how it was.
Yeah, exactly, and they were pay-per-view fights. You know, Tyson Lewis, Tyson Holyfield, just 2 off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Spinks, although Spinks wasn't really big enough or had a bit of a padded record, whatever.
Yep.
you know, they were big moments. You know, there's been so many great big moments in
De La Hoya Mosley.
Oh my God, yes. Some of the De La Hoya fights.
Yes, De La Hoya Vargas.
Yeah. I mean, they're pay-per-view fights. You know, they're, you know, Bruno Lewis.
Yes.
You know, pay-per-view fights. And going on about it, people going about how good they think AJ is. And, you know, and then going, oh, Bruno was crap. Yet these are the people that rate Lewis, so I rate Eiley. Bruno gave Lewis all the trouble he could need for 6 or 7 rounds.
Of course he could.
He was jabbing his head off. And AJ's yet to fight a fighter even a tenth as good as Bruno yet. You know what I mean? And everybody thinks Bruno is crap, but listen, it took 2 very good versions of Mike Tyson to get rid of him. And also, you know, Witherspoon and Bone Crusher Smith, who were also great fighters in their day.
Exactly. I can imagine Tim Witherspoon and Bone Crusher Smith being around today in this era.
Oh my God! Oh my God! He'd have walked through. I mean, the era. You know, I was talking about this here 18 months ago. Heavyweight division looked alive. It looked, you know, it really looked like the next 4 or 5 years were going to be absolutely brilliant, because heavyweight boxing has been in a terrible state, dominated by the Klitschko's. Not their fault. You know, they were this new generation of 6'6", 6'7" giants with power. But it got boring. It got stale. No one was, you know, there was very few genuine contenders coming through. Now Tyson's pretty much, you know, although it's his fault, you know, the way he's been treated and how long he's been left hanging around. Yeah, Ortiz fails again, and he's only going to be out for 6 months. How does that work?
It doesn't, does it?
No, it's just an agenda, and that's a shame. But yeah, I mean, you know, I was looking at Joshua's record earlier, and you know, there's no one on it. And you know, listen, Klitschko was a great fighter, but let's not forget, Klitschko was washed up, shite, finished over the hill when he fought Fury. Well, fighters at 40 plus don't get better with age, and that was nearly 2 years since he fought Fury. So I'm not having it that all of a sudden that was a great version of Klitschko, and Joshua had to go absolute life and death with him. And if he wouldn't have listened to his brother, and God knows why he did, Klitschko would have got him out of there.
This is the truth, but I've come to understand that people don't want to hear the truth no more. They want to believe the lies. They believe the fairy tales. They want to believe that, you know, Joshua will never get beat, and he's like Hercules, and he's Samson, and he's the strongest man in the world, and all this stuff. And it's not going to happen, is it? Eventually, he's going to get beat. You know?
Yeah, and listen, before this, right now, I think we can both agree, and we're both fans of JJ. I like the guy. I love the way he's rebranded himself. I love the way he keeps himself in fabulous condition. He carries himself well. He's got power. He's athletic for a huge guy. And I don't want him to lose. That's not what this is all about.
No, it isn't.
I'm just fed up with people actually totally you know, you either get misquoted or misunderstood. It's not a hate campaign against AJ. There's not a lot to not like about him. You know, he's turned his life around. All right, he won Olympic gold, which is dubious. And then he's just been fed a series of stiffs. His 2 hardest fights, Dillian White, and a very, very old and way over the hill version of Vladimir Klitschko. That's his 2 toughest tests.
Well,
people are now comparing this guy with Lennox Lewis.
I know.
Shouldn't even be comparing him with Joe Bugner yet.
well, hold on. I've got to give you an example of the sort of things that you know, the sort of comments that come around that can make one's blood boil, and others will just celebrate it. Joshua is better than Lennox Lewis was. Faster, stronger, more adaptable to inside fighting without clinching. He has a brutal KO machine. Takam is not lasting before mid-rounds. A new type of super heavyweight. I didn't say that. Those comments were from King Slender 2.0. Mr. Mason, you're right to reply.
Well, honestly, it's just mind blowing, isn't it? I just don't know. You know, what if you become a fight fan, right? Or a fan of anything. If you're a football fan, surely you do the research on your team and the players and your manager. You know what I mean? It's not quite due diligence, but surely you'd want to know what you're talking about. And it's almost like these people that watch Joshua have never. They turned the TV on when the Olympics were on, and were like, "Oh, this is our man." And they followed the hype train, going, yeah, he's better than Mike Tyson, or he's better than Tim Witherspoon, or he's better than James Tillis, or he's better than Joe Bugner or Lennox Lewis, or I mean, you know, even someone like Oliver McCall and Hazim Rahman. I mean, you know, these guys were, you know, legit fighters. Who had good amateur experience. They were technically skilled, and they were sound fighters. I mean, look at the guy who AJ won the title off. I'm not being funny. If he come down my local pub, he wouldn't be the hardest man in the pub. I mean, he was fucking awful.
Okay. DJ Slick, Transfer Bully says AJ would beat King Kong and Godzilla on the same night. Pay-per-view, baby. Mouth watering.
Wow, mouth-watering. Eye-watering. And the only thing wet coming out of that bloke's mouth is shit. It's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And I like the guy. I genuinely like the guy, and I love the way he's now like an inspiration to others, and you know, he's someone for the kids to look up to, and he is. He's like, you know, I think he's a great role model.
Okay, Chris, King Slender 2.0 has more to say. Lewis was fighting Billups in his 19th fight. He also had to change trainers twice before his 30th fight. Joshua Fox eat anything Lewis has done by 2020. My
goodness, this guy really doesn't know anything about boxing, does he? He's like beyond the casual. I don't know what the other word for a casual is. Most fighters tend to change trainers when they fit. Well, look at the improvement in Billy Joe, right? Yes. And that's not a slight on his previous trainers. Sometimes boxers go stale, and they learn all they can with one guy, and they go with someone else.
Well,
Billy Joe, right? Billy Joe is an example, right? What he lacked was conditioning and discipline. Right, he's gone up with Ingle, who we know is an absolute taskmaster. You show me an Ingle fighter that ain't coming in the best condition they've ever been in.
There you go.
And that's all Billy Joe needed. He was flat in his few previous fights, didn't look strong, had no real conditioning, didn't look like he could do 12 comfortably. And there's no boxing, you don't really need to do a lot with Billy Joe. He's well schooled, great amateur record. Knows how to fight, knows the areas in the ring that he's good at, and uses them to the best of his ability. Changing trainers is you know, for some fighters it works, some fighters it doesn't work.
Well, Oscar De La Hoya had about 6 different trainers, but are you going to say he's not a very good fighter? I'd say he's a very good fighter, De La Hoya.
Well, it's Hall of Famer in my book.
Well, there you go.
One of the best of my generation to watch.
Absolutely, me too. It's a matter of time before all you AJ unbelievers will eat your words, says Mr. Skeptical.
Well, it's not. I don't think we're going to eat our words because no one said. We're not saying that. Well, we've got to look at fighters like Dubois and Joyce, right? I thought Joyce was really ordinary the other night. And Lewison ain't no great shakes. And if you don't look good against him, I mean, he's a dream to look good against. He's a guy that you pick to make a fighter look good. Far too many arm punches. Still got an amateur style, and I ain't having all this nonsense that he's a novice. I know he's sparred some of the best around. He was involved with that boxing super series with the normal gloves on, no egg guards, 3-minute rounds. But he's 32. They can fast track him all he likes. He's never going to get up. Well, I'd be amazed if he ever gets far enough down the road to fight AJ. If AJ ain't already been blitzed by then.
Let's talk. Yeah, we talk about Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce. There are a lot of things. I don't know if you heard the interview with myself and Stavern, where Joyce basically first Stavern said that he wouldn't fast track Joyce, and then Joyce responded and said that he boxed the dreadlocks off of Stavern, and then Stavern turned and said basically, look, that's not true. I basically got in the ring and I didn't do much with him because I could see a whole lot of people. He had a whole lot of entourage with him, and he was just coming to show off basically. And then he left. He left Stavern's gym and went over to Brazil's gym, and that was the time when Stavern was preparing to fight Brazil. So then I look at how Stavern fights. I look at how Ian Lewison fought, and then I look at what Joyce put on the other night, and it looked very basic to me, Joe Joyce. I mean, I don't know where all this stories about Joe Joyce being this great fighter, because he can do all the acrobats he wants, but I struggle to see him beating some of the top heavyweights in the world.
No, there's nothing there, and his chin's high in the air. I mean, he's a big guy. He's athletic looking. But yeah, there was nothing there in that fight that sort of makes me sit up and think, well, let's compare him with Dubois.
Let's not.
Let's not. There's a guy that's he's like for me, well, if you look at him and then look at AJ relative to where their careers at the same time. And if they think all these people that are blowing smoke up Joshua's ass, they must think Dubois is the second coming of Muhammad Ali.
Well, no, hold on. Hughie Fury's meant to be that, isn't he? According to Shades of Ali. That was what Mick Hennessy said.
Shades of Ali. Fucking hell, Shades of Ali. He's another one. I mean, he's so now bitter and twisted and done. And I feel sorry for him because his loyalty's there. He must have done his brains financially in that fight. And this is another thing. Well, I told you that Joyce had been sparring with Hughie and was giving Hughie nightmares. So that just, that maybe then shows us where Hughie is in terms of his career and how far away he is. But let's not forget, Hughie Fury is still a young man, and was he 23, 24?
Yeah.
He's 4 or 5 years off of his peak for a man of his size. And no doubt he's got technical ability, moves well, but lacks power. And unless you've got, you need pop in this modern era just to keep them off and keep them thinking that they make a mistake and they step in too far and they get cracked. Not concussive power, but he needs to find some pop on his punches, including his jab. It's very amateur, his jab. It's not like stiff and one that will, you'll feel to your boots when you get on the end of it, which makes you wary of bridging that gap and stepping inside, and he doesn't have that yet. And until he gets it, Parker's only a small heavyweight, until Hughie finds that, he's going to have problems.
King Slender has a few more things to say. He says, most fighters change trainers when they can't adapt to opposition. False. Joshua's sticking with one trainer that shows how good he is. He then follows up by saying Lewis himself said he was not as good. He had trouble blocking jabs and he had to work hard to where he went. Joshua, by far more natural talent.
So we're talking about the same trainer that trained Froch, right?
Yes. This is what this is King
Froch, who had more flaws than the majority of great fighters I can think of. Let's just look at what Groves, and think about where Groves is ability-wise and his skill set, and look what he did to Froch, whose trainer is the same guy as Joshua's trainer. Are we getting somewhere?
Well, according to King Slender says, he continues by going, Dubois is very raw compared to Joshua. Still young, though.
So we're talking about the Joshua's fought nobody, and his two stiffest test is against an ex-kickboxer and an old man. And he had nightmares with both. Honestly, I don't get what I'm watching. Or what they're watching. It's just unbelievable. I mean, AJ's resume is absolutely awful. Awful for a guy that's being held in such high regard. It's mind blowing. These guys that they brought over, and it's been a great. Listen, his promoter's done a hell of a job. It's unbelievable. He's like the ultimate cash cow. But listen, there's no question the guy can fight and he can bang, and he's really real athletic. But we don't even. The surface isn't even been scratched. We don't even know if he's any good or not.
See,
and he certainly can't be talked of in the same breath as Lennox Lewis. Well, that's just absolutely mind blowing.
Let's discuss this a second. Sky Sports tweet: is Anthony Joshua the greatest British heavyweight ever? Question mark. There are people. There are people out there that said yes.
Well, are they like 13-year-old spotty schoolboys?
Look, I tried to explain this out, but I tried to explain this earlier on to people, but anytime I say something, people want to jump down my throat, and so I leave them to it. But you can break it down, Chris.
But that's a bit like going. That's a bit like finding a dart player that hasn't played to the highest level. Very good player, produced some good stats, but has not played against the best yet, and saying this guy's better than Eric Bristow or Phil Taylor. You can't even think of making a poll when he's beat. When he's beat. When he's beat Wilder or he's beat Pulev, and he beats Takam at the weekend, and then Ortiz comes back and he beats him, and then he beats Tyson Fury and anyone else that's around, and then he beats Dubois at the end of his career while Dubois is just beginning the best part of his career. Then we can say, do you know what, this guy is quite possibly, but even then it'd be up for debate, because the level of fighters Lennox Lewis fought, it's just night and day in comparison to what Joshua has potential to face. And that's not AJ's fault. We're just in a terrible era, and then even if he does beat Fury, this is a guy that's had ridiculous amounts of inactivity, not the most athletic guy or the most genetically gifted guy in the world. And say he did beat him, and it would be a big if. I'm a great believer, right? AJ, quality, great mobility, he's got great speed, great power for heavyweight, decent movement. But the first person that he faces, and trust me, this guy at the weekend is, if he hasn't had a full training camp, I'd be amazed if he sees 4 or 5 rounds. Absolutely amazed, right? But if we believe the bullshit that he's had a 10, 11-week camp and he's coming into this fight ready, right? And he can hold Joshua's power, he will give Joshua nightmares, because Joshua is going to have some serious output. And as big as he is, all them muscles, all that does is create lactic acid, and he'll have to be busy against Takam, because Takam's a busy fighter. I mean, if the version that fought Povetkin arrives on Saturday night, he potentially could cause Joshua absolute dramas.
I've said this. Right?
But if it's a guy that's been and an eye in a camp, eating what he likes, not been doing the road work, not been doing the, not had a proper camp, he gets blown away. Simple as that. He's not a big heavyweight. He's an inside fighter. He likes it. He likes close quarter action. AJ's not going to give him that. AJ will keep him long off the jab and hit him with a long looping or a long straight right hand down the pipe, and that'll be all she wrote if he's not in condition. And to be honest, I don't know what everybody's moaning about anyway, because Pulev probably would have been pretty much the same.
For me, I think it's a better fight, Takam, than Pulev, because Pulev only had a left jab. Really, let's be honest.
Yeah, Pulev's big, upright, and stiff.
Exactly.
Where Takam's got some mobility. Like I said, a real good version of Takam. I mean, I remember Takam when he was being, tipped up, and he had a shocking fight. I don't know, it was a long time ago. Could have been 6-7 years ago, when he had his first loss on his record. And from that point on, then I thought, oh well. But building up into that, he lost. I tell you, he lost to Tony Gregory. Is it Tony Gregory?
Gregory, the guy, was it the guy that fought? What's the guy's name again? Richard Towers.
Yes. Yeah, he beat Takam. I say, actually, it probably might be longer than 6-7 years ago. I'm not sure, off the top of my head.
Right.
But fair play. He went away, rebuilt. Got fed some guys like he fought Botha towards the end of his career. Well, his career was pretty done. He fought Michael Grant. Tony Thompson, as we know.
Parker.
Sprott. And then he lost to Parker. Well, he lost to Povetkin.
Now,
that was a great fight. That was the end of 2014.
Now, it's not Povetkin, it's Pedvetkin. Remember that? P-E-D Vetkin. Pedvetkin.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no question that he was probably on the roids then. So
absolutely. He looked like Incredible Hulk.
War with Povetkin. That was a great fight. But they were made for each other. Similar height, similar reach, similar style. I mean, that was a great fight. That was a good throwback heavyweight fight. It was one of the best heavyweight fights I can remember around that time. And then he got decisioned off of Parker. I can't remember a lot about that fight, to be honest.
He gave Parker all he could. He gave Parker all he could ask for. He walked through Parker's punching power and put him on the back foot. Now, everyone is talking about AJ winning this fight and blowing him out in a couple of rounds. It all depends on how Takam takes the fight to AJ. Because if Takam can put AJ on his back foot, it's a different fight. Because you saw what Klitschko did on the back foot. I'm not of the belief that Joshua can fight off the back foot when his back is against the ropes. No. I think he's a come-forward fighter.
Yeah, well, he flaps. Look what he was like against White, and White ain't no great shapes. And as soon as White put it on him, he was like, he was a bit like Bruno, bless him. Every time Bruno got hurt, he didn't really, he just put his hands straight out in front of him and wouldn't really know, his first reaction was to panic. And listen, we don't even know if AJ is like this monster puncher, because we know Klitschko's got dodgy whiskers. We know. I mean, White, unknown quantity, because who'd he been in with? Who was a super banger prior to fighting AJ? A real banger. We don't know. And Takam might be able to hold his shots. And if he holds his shots and doesn't, fight in a way that he's going to get caught on the end of that big right hand, you just never know. You really don't never know. I mean, they all say, "Oh, well, heavyweight boxing, you're only a punch away." Well, you know, Joseph Parker's not heavy-handed, but you know, he holds a shot. So it isn't a case of whoever lands first. But what we do know already from Joshua, his power recovery is good. We know that. But he was let off the hook a couple of times. Didn't Dillian White hurt his shoulder or something?
Hold on, I've got some people in the room talking. Sorry, so I've got a whole lot of people jumping.
Yeah, I think Dillian White, once he'd hurt AJ, hurt his shoulder or something, he'd catch it or he did something anyway. And obviously we know with the Klitschko situation, he just didn't. He had him done and let him off the hook, let him recover 3 or 4 rounds later, and got done himself. But like I said, there's more unanswered questions with Joshua than there is answered ones.
See, the thing is, I don't know if Joshua. There's question for me to answer. Now, if Takam can get, this is now boxing science thing. If Takam can get on the inside of that jab and the right hand, what I mean by is, if Takam's on the outside and he gets hit flush on the with the full-fledged punch of Joshua from the outside, so the full extension of Joshua's jab, the full extension of Joshua's right hand, he's in a lot of trouble. But if he can step inside of that,
the end of the shot, as you know, is where the power is.
Exactly.
If he stays
on the inside,
bridge that gap.
Yes, and he gets on the inside. If he can get on the inside, and that can be created by speed of foot, head movement, and angles. Now, people say, "Oh, Takkam's just a come forward fighter." Takam was able to set a hectic pace against Joseph Parker. I ask people that are saying Joshua would blow him away in a couple of rounds. These are the same people that told me that Golovkin would blow away Jacobs in a couple of rounds, and the same people that told me that Golovkin would blow away Canelo in a few rounds. I say to this: a puncher is a puncher. The puncher can only be allowed to be a puncher if you allow him to punch you. Now, when I talk about Takam now, if Takam's allowed to get, if he can get on the inside, it's only an inch or two that makes a difference. If Takam can get on the inside of that jab, if he can slit the jab and get inside, that creates pressure because Joshua has to put an output of punches out to stop him getting on the inside. If Takam can start at a fast pace for 4 or 5 rounds, who was Joshua thought that's going to give him that sort of pace? You could say Dillian White, but if you say Dillian White, well, Dillian White was injured coming into that fight, and he lacked fitness. So if Dillian White, who was injured going into that fight, and he lacked fitness, didn't get blown away in 2-3 rounds, then a guy like Takam, who I think is more proven than Dillian White, I think you should give people should give Takam a bit more credit.
No, I think Takam absolutely blitzes Dillian White.
There you go.
If they fought each other next weekend, there's only one winner there, and it ain't Dillian White.
See, I just think that a lot of... Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, he struggled with Chisora, who wasn't, in great form or condition. And I look back at, the game plans, what they go through, the drills they go through in camp. And I always think back to Holyfield and Tyson.
Yeah, hold that a second. Hold that thought a second. People in this room, and there are people, I keep hearing it, and I swear they talk out their ear because they talk about small heavyweights and being too small. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, David Haye, Michael Moorer, all guys that moved, I forget Tyson a second, guys that moved up from the cruiserweight and the light heavyweight division up to become a heavyweight champion of the world. Where do guys keep saying this guy's too small? Where does that come from? I don't understand that.
Listen, once you get outside of sort of 14, 15 stones,
that you're big enough.
Like your optimum power in regards to your physicality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bodybuilding competition. It's not a weight training competition.
There we go.
Eddie Hall can deadlift 1,000 pound, but probably wouldn't punch as hard as Golovkin, right? It doesn't. But once you reach that certain size, that's it. If you can punch, and in some cases you've got an advantage. I know we've gone through this area of freakishly big heavyweights. I mean, Wilder's tall, but his legs are like toothpicks. You know, and
there you go.
Your legs is your drive for a punch. He needs another one. We don't even know if he can punch yet. Who's he actually knocked out that's a known guy that holds a shot? There isn't anybody. There isn't one fighter that we know that holds a shot. Like David A, right? We know he doesn't hold a shot. But he's another one. He like I said, life and death with Mormek, gets his title off of a great big giant guy who couldn't fight. And then everybody, I remember that era. David A's this, David A's that. I didn't think David A was going to beat Bellew because I thought he's any good. I had just basically underestimated Bellew's ability to hold a shot because of previous, and the fact that he was fighting a much bigger guy. So there's the answer to his question about size.
There's another.
Bellew against Hay.
I give these guys won't do it. I told them to go and look at a fight. Mike the Giant White, 7'1" or 7'2", versus Michael Moore, 6'2". Michael Moore fought at a light heavyweight, came up to heavyweight, knocked Mike the Giant White out. These guys don't understand about boxing. Evander Holyfield, 15.5 stone versus Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. That's a big heavyweight.
It was a
6'5". Exactly. And Holyfield dropped Riddick Bowe. Holyfield dropped Riddick Bowe. Dropped him. And almost had him out on his feet.
Go watch that trilogy. You know, that's
there we go.
Small heavyweight.
Right.
Small heavyweight.
Small.
The big.
Right.
Big Daddy
these guys, they just follow what they listen to on Sky Sports and say he's too small. Why is he too small? He's 50. He's 15.5 stone. Maybe Takam. He's a heavyweight. He's not moving up into the heavyweight division. It's not his first fight in the heavyweight division. If he's big enough to fight Parker, I believe he's big enough to fight Joshua. Whether he beats Joshua is a different argument. But
hey, go back even further. Rocky Marciano, he wasn't even 15 stone, was he?
There you go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So these people.
He used to rip through fucking giant, man.
Well, okay. What about Muhammad Ali when he fought George Foreman? Oh, Ali's not big enough. Ali's not big enough. Well, what happened then? People keep getting size. Size is one thing, but it's skill, footwork, being able to get inside. Now, Takam's only hope for me, I think is for Takam to push Joshua onto the back foot and force him to throw a lot of punches at a very high work rate. Busy, and not get caught with big shots. Or if he can.
Listen, he's not going to get caught with big shots if he's under AJ's chin. If he's
That's
on his
it.
chest, he ain't going to get caught with big shots, right? And as we know, we don't know what AJ's going to do with a fighter who's got. You got to remember, he got short arms, Takam, right? He's got short levers. Means he can work on the inside, throw uppercuts, throw body shots. And when someone's on your chest, you can't throw any significant shot. You can't, not when you're that big. Your leverage is gone. You need people at the end of your shots, or walking into a shot. And if Takam's not had a camp, he basically's got to go in there and think, right, I got 3 or 4 rounds, and just stick it on him and see what happens. The first fighter that actually, we've seen examples, right, with Dillian Whyte and Klitschko of what happens when you actually
stick it on him.
Go.
Mm-hmm.
And the evidence is there. When we've watched fighters of old that, look at when Roy Jones got, absolutely nailed that one time. And, he went on a streak of people trying to knock his head off because they knew if they got to him,
what happens?
Is he beatable in a straight up fight at distance, where he uses his ring craft? Absolutely not. He was one of the best in the business at it. But as soon as you get found out, and the same thing will happen with AJ, you'll just get a string of heavyweights looking to absolutely nail him clean. Because they know the first one that hits him on the end of that chin, it's over. And that's not just like a new thing. That's the thing that's followed his career. He got stopped in the amateurs. He's been, there's stories of him getting put over in sparring with head guards on. And then we've seen the evidence of it. We've seen the evidence of it with Klitschko, and we've seen the evidence of it with Dillian Whyte. I mean, he was absolutely on Queer Street against Dillian Whyte. But unfortunately, the timing of the punch, and Dillian Whyte didn't have the ability to capitalise and absolutely finish him. If he'd have been fighting, listen, if Takam gets him going, he finishes him.
The other thing is, people seem to have, I don't call it biased. I just think they're quite blinded. I make a prediction, I get it right. I make a prediction, I get it wrong. But who doesn't get a prediction right or wrong? I mean, I've seen pundits get horribly wrong week in, week out, and they're pundits. I don't see nobody calling into Sky Sports and saying, "You got it wrong, mate." They listen to them week in, week out. So it's.
Yeah, listen,
go ahead, Chris.
We're not trying to be clever and come up with. Listen, what we're going to sit back. We like to talk boxing, right? What do we want to sit back? All right, another easy win. You know, we want to look at how and if, you know, how a fighter's going to win. How can he lose? You know, listen, I'm a Chelsea fan, right? Are they going to win the league this year? Absolutely not. They're playing, you know, they're playing nowhere near the kind of football that's necessary. Does that mean I dislike Chelsea or I want them to lose? Of course it doesn't. Do I dislike AJ and want him to lose? No. But all I'm trying to do is, you know, all these guys, what they're going to do be like, you know, they're going to have like a minute's silence when he gets beat. They're going to be like crying into their fucking McDonald's milkshake. You know, it's like, it's crazy, and the hype that surrounds it makes people like me and you try to, you know, educate them and make them understand that this guy isn't this, you know, he's not a monster. You know, he isn't a monster. He ain't this guy. He's got fragilities. He's got flaws. But you know, and that's all it is. It's not. You know, I don't want him to lose. It don't matter. It's not going to change my life whether he wins or loses. Full stop. But you know, this is what it's all about. This is why we like to debate, and it's not a case of, you know, when it happens, I told you so. It's just going to go, well, we did say, didn't we?
Exactly. Let's see. The thing is, I like to, like with you. I like to, it's like two people at the pub having a conversation, and I think that if I said to you, we had a conversation. So, what do you think of the fight of the weekend, mate? Oh, AJ smashes him. That's the end of a conversation, isn't it? I mean, every fighter. I mean, we're having a debate here, and a debate that you probably hear on Sky. And we're trying to be as non-biased as possible. We're saying, listen, Joshua is the favorite to win the fight. We appreciate that. But we're also looking at Carlos Takam and what he could possibly bring to the table. And as far as I'm concerned, if Takam can get on the inside of Joshua, it's a different challenge. We don't know what he fights like when somebody gets on the inside of him. And
exactly.
Until that happens, and we've never seen him fight at a pace with somebody who can set that sort of pace and he's in shape. If Takam's in shape and he can get on the inside, there'll be trouble. I said this when Andre Ward fought Kovalev. Oh, Kovalev's a puncher. He'll destroy Ward. I said, well, we don't know what Kovalev's like when somebody gets on the inside of him. Okay? And he's, oh, no, it's going to be all right. So people don't consider the other options. Can these things happen? Of course it can happen. It's the world of boxing. There's a science. There's a reason. You make a person miss, you make them pay. Things can happen. But it seems there's in a world where you cannot say anything that's outside the realms of he's going to get knocked out flattened. I mean, if that's the point, if that's the way things are, then what's the point of even having these debates? Just say, all right, AJ's going to win the fight. That's it. Why have a build-up? Why bother having a build-up? Why are Sky Sports bothering to have build-ups?
He's 50 to 1 on to win. Where the fuck's everyone going? So I tell you why everybody went to Groves Broch 2, 80,000 or whatever it was. Why? Didn't know who was going to win. It was a great first fight. Didn't know who was going to win. No one knew who was going to win. Can Golovkin, is Golovkin now not a puncher because of his last few fights? Fighters listen, when everyone went on about McGregor and Floyd, right?
The left hand.
Floyd's a non-puncher, right?
Yep.
But people don't understand. Boxers know how to do two things, right? Especially the ones who can bang. They absolutely know how to load up on a shot to knock you out, and they can hold a shot. They just know how to hold a shot. So when you get these crossover fights, you know, those that are involved in boxing know what's going to happen. That wasn't the case again. You know, I looked at it and I tried to make a case for McGregor. You know, you've got to make. That's why we like debating about boxing. When Froch fought Groves, you know, I went from 1 week thinking, well, if Groves does this and does that and does this, he wins the fight. And I'm thinking, yeah, but Froch is really good at X, Y, and Z. I can't see Groves winning. You know, it was the same with Canelo and Golovkin. You just were like, you know, that's the beauty of this sport. You know, we want to we want to debate. You know, have I missed something? Did you see something in him in a fight that against a guy of a similar height and range as Joshua, and he found a way to win that fight? You know, it's the same with, you know, as you said, Foreman Ali. Everybody going about, oh yeah, but how can he put up with his power? Look what he did to Frazier, you know, and look what Frazier did to Ali. But you know, unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way, as we've seen in history. You know, the one moment you think, oh, this can never happen, boom, it does.
See, the other thing is, it's what you prefer to fight. Some guys like fighting at a fast tempo. Some guys like boxing at a slow tempo. The Klitschko tempo that Joshua had with Klitschko, he liked that tempo. Get time to measure the jab, throw the right hand, throw the left hook, you know, time to do the things you want to do. Some guys like that tempo, and some guys get very uncomfortable when they're pressured, when pressure's put on them. So we don't know. We're not sure which way this fight's going to go in terms of with Takam. Is Takam going to be allowed to set that pace? Because if he's not allowed to set that pace, then it's all Joshua. But if he's allowed to set a pace, if he's allowed to put Joshua on the back foot, and Joshua cannot deal with that or can't handle that early, then what happens? There's just questions to be asked. But people expect him to get blown away in a couple of rounds. So we'll just have to wait until fight night, won't we?
Yeah, well, listen, as you say, at the moment, Joshua's had it all his own ways. He's been able to fight at the tempo he liked. I mean, early on against White, he was basically allowed to dominate. You know, White had no answer. He didn't have enough head movement. He didn't have quick enough feet to, you know, when AJ did miss with the jab, to try and step inside and throw a hook or look at throwing a body shot. You know, there was no. It wasn't until, you know, sort of 5, 6, 7, you know, that he started to, you know, make an impact. Where Takam's a much cuter fighter. He's got good head. He's a little bit, you know, Mike Tyson-esque in a lot of ways. He bobs and weaves. Well, the best versions of him I've seen. You know, he moves forward with head movement, looking to unload shots and looking to close that gap and back you up.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen AJ backed up. We haven't seen him made to work in close quarters because he's so big and so strong. He keeps you off with the jab. But if you can slip that jab and you're athletic enough and you've got good enough, you're fleet-footed enough, you can get inside those big, long, heavy shots. You know, we've seen it done before. Burbick, Mike Tyson.
There we go. So, okay, let's move on to some other subjects. Let's go back again to George Groves versus Jamie Cox. What were your thoughts on the fight?
I thought. Well, we discussed it.
Yeah.
We give Cox a shout in that fight.
We did. But we did talk about the defense being defensively irresponsible.
Yes, absolutely, and that's exactly what. In the end, he let his lack of experience and his aggression get the better of him, because, you know, when he did show, you know, control, he had his moments in that fight. George was absolutely marked up, so it shows you he'd been in a fight. You know, look at Crawler Burns. You know, I seen Crawler on TV the day after, and you wouldn't know he'd just been in a 12-rounder. But you look at Groves, and he looked like he'd done 15. So obviously Cox got to. I think, you know, we said at the time, Cox nowhere near big enough. Skilled enough? Absolutely. Big enough? Absolutely not. He will be a force at 160 pounds. I'd like to see him again. No slight on the trainers he's with now, but I think he's too advanced. He's got too many skills, and I don't think they can get the best out of him, because you need to. Sometimes trainers need, if they've got fighters at skill levels are beyond what they're able to, what's the right word? Bring the best out of. You know, you know, they have to have had a fighter like that in the past, or they have to have been a fighter similar to that kind of. I know there's exception. People go, oh, how about Manny Stewart? How about Custom Out? Totally different things. Because he looks like he's a lot of skills. He looks like he's insanely strong.
Yes.
And I think at 160,
Seems to have a good.
Bangs.
Seems to have a good chin as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with his whiskers. He got stopped with a body shot, and again, that was because he was falling in.
Yep.
And he was head hunting. He was a little bit wild at times. But I think if he had a trainer that could hone his skills.
But you think it just be? It could be a temperamental thing with him, though, Chris. I mean, like I said, it might be his mental frame of mind. There might be nothing physically a trainer can do for him unless he can keep it together mentally.
Yeah, well, we know he's a loose cannon. I mean, that's not a debate. And yeah, you could well be right, but I think, I think with the right kind of trainer, not only would he bring his boxing skills on, he probably could help his temperament as well. Because some of these guys in boxing are wise old owls, and they do tend to get the best out of these guys that otherwise were fairly limited. But he should take loads out of that, Cox. He should he should walk away with that. His head up high. He looked really good at times. I think he's been wrongly advised to fight at 168. Let's not forget that guy started off at 147.
Yeah.
And he hadn't, he's physically looks very, very good. He'd have no problem stripping off. Well, it'd be waterweight anyway. I'd say he walks around at around, maybe 175, 180 max, totally out of condition because he's not a big guy. He's not got a big frame. So I think he does 160 easy, rehydrates to probably up, 168, 170. He'd be a danger at 160.
What about Cox versus Saunders?
Yeah, there's a fight. Saunders has got plenty on his hands with Lemieux.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a tough fight. I think that's a tough fight. Listen, the version I watched, who did Billy Joe fight after Andy Lee?
Wolverine.
Who?
Wolverine.
Yeah.
That Wolverine-looking guy. Yeah, him in the leisure centre.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he fought Willie Monroe Jr. The last fight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, against Willie Monroe, he looked awful. Like Nicky Blackwell fight was decent. Matthew Hall, he was laboured. I don't think Billy will have the power to keep Lemieux off. Golovkin, who we know is pound for pound one of the hardest punchers going.
Yes.
I mean, I know he eventually got to him, but he didn't sort of like devastate him. And I think he's all wrong for Billy Joe. He's crouched, short punches, lots of head movement, looks for the body. Yeah, that's a tough night for Billy Joe.
It is.
That's a great fight. That's a great fight.
But I was calling for Billy Joe to fight Lex Lemieux for a while. I would rather him fought Curtis Stevens, to be honest.
Yeah, that would be a decent fight, or maybe
Rosado.
Jacobs.
No, not Jacobs. Not Jacobs. Rosado, not Jacobs. No, not Jacobs. I think Rosado, because then you look at different dynamic, taller, long arms, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think because really what you're trying to do at this point in time is get Billy Joe Saunders in with either Golovkin or Canelo now. Anyone else is really wasting time. Let's be honest. Anyone else now he's wasting time with, I think.
Yeah.
Because we want him in super fights now against Golovkin and Canelo. We need to, and if he beats Lemieux, okay, so then Golovkin's beat Lemieux already. So, do you know what I mean? Well, if you fight Golovkin and he fought Golovkin, he beat a Golovkin, for example, that'd be great for Billy Joe if he could beat a Golovkin. It's the ultimate test. And if he fights Canelo, well then Mayweather's the only guy to beat Canelo. So, I think there are two great fights there.
Yeah, I mean, I look at his performance. I mean, the first 6 rounds against Eubank, I thought he was fabulous. And then I think Eubank was too nervous and he was stiff early on. He was trying too hard. And then after that, you actually probably seen you know, as we said, we speak about all the time, levels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had the fight a draw, but I thought it was a good fight. I thought his performance against Andy Lee was again. I thought that was a great fight. I had him winning that fight quite handy. I think it was a majority decision in the end.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good against John Ryder, but again, levels. Spike O'Sullivan was a good fight. The Nicky Blackwell was a good fight. But then you got to look what Eubank did to Nicky Blackwell, and that was a bit further down the road, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's something to consider.
I think because Eubank didn't have a lot of stoppages early on and fought a lot of unknown names. I think the Billy Joe Saunders team thought they were going to blow Eubank Jr. away, and it wasn't to be. And like I said, I had it a draw. I watched it a few times, and I can never quite give Eubank the fight, if I'm honest. But it was a tough fight. But then you look after that fight, who's made the adjustments, who's improved, who actually looks like, who looks like they're the world champion. There's got to be a rematch on the line somewhere with them two.
Absolutely. We'll be talking to Abel Sanchez just after I finish with you. I'll be talking to Abel Sanchez, so we're going to find a bit more about that as well.
Yeah.
Did you see Gassiev over the weekend?
Oh, didn't he take his soul? Oh my God! I felt that from London. Honestly, I think my testicles tried to go back inside my body, even though it wasn't a low shot. That kind of body shot is just, honestly, I've been hit with one, and there's nothing quite like it.
You can do anything about it.
And you can see him. It was like every bit of blood, oxygen, and testosterone got removed from his body. It was, it's very underrated, the body shot. I mean, I was, as you know, a huge fan of Ricky Hatton, and that one he hit with Castillo was one that will always sit in my memory, and so will that one. He really did take his soul. That was a devastating punch.
When I as soon as I actually text Abel Sanchez the next morning, and I said to him, that shot to the body reminded me of Golovkin. And he said to me, same tactics, same style. So we're looking at a cruiserweight Golovkin here in Gassiev. Interesting.
Yes, he looks. He's almost like he's like one of them real calm, emotionless operators, like an assassin or something.
KGB or something. Should be in a Bond movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could be a Bond villain, couldn't he? He looks evil.
He does.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get locked in a phone box with him, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
No.
Well, that's the way.
Yeah,
we were talking, and I said to Abel, well, how are you going to deal with the experience? And then I said to him, well, one way you can deal with all the experience that his opponent had, Wodolczyk, is just to basically knock him out. That's how you get rid of all the experience he had. So he dealt with him. I mean, it was like cat and mouse. He just followed him around the ring, took his time, followed him around the ring, and then boom.
Yeah, he looked for his opening, didn't he? You could tell. Well, once you've seen it go through, and then you watch the fight again. Exactly that. He was just taking a look at him, thinking, all right, every time most boxers, it's a repetitive thing. They'll either throw a jab, move to their right, or they'll throw a body shot and then leave their hand out a little bit, or they all have their little idiosyncrasies. And if you get a fighter that reads the other guy, which is exactly what he did, and that's exactly why the shot was timed up to perfection. He knew exactly where he was going to put his hands, exactly where he was going to tuck his elbows, and he literally just let the shot go. And it was a beautiful shot. But I mean, I'm a huge, talking about Abel Sanchez, huge fan. Love his work. He's one of those guys you could listen to all day long. He just talks so much sense.
You could do.
And his passion for boxing is right up there. And what a great guy! What a massively experienced guy. Been in the been in the fight game for most of his life, and humble with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice guy.
Just don't let him get one up on you. He'll be texting you and trolling you all day and all night, which he does with me.
So I'm gonna make it my life's work. The next time in the States, I'm definitely gonna hopefully time it up when he's in camp and try and go up and just spend a couple of hours watching him work.
Mikey asked the question: will you be fighting Rio Ferdinand on his debut?
I tell you what, no bullshit, right? If I was closer to 30 than I am 50, absolutely.
You wouldn't think twice about it?
No, God, no. Anybody who's not had a proper fight, no, he'd get rinsed. He wouldn't beat any guy that's got an area title. You know, he's another one. He's deluded. He might have done some boxing training or a little bit of sparring. It's night and day. After, you know, you get him with a guy that's a boxer, a genuine boxer, and that's his job. Yeah, it's you know, not saying that I box. I have plenty. You know, I wouldn't even have to think twice about it. Yeah, he wouldn't bother me.
Your thoughts on the Rio Ferdinand? Before I talk about Rio Ferdinand, let me talk about another fight that's been talked about: Frankie Gavin, Curtis Woodhouse 2.
Yeah, I like that fight.
I did interview Frankie the other day, and he said he wants to hit Curtis Woodhouse in the mouth very hard. So.
Well, he should have tried doing that the last fucking half a dozen fights. Yeah, I like Frankie. I've followed Frankie's career. Obviously, from when I was living in the West Midlands for you know, best part of 10 years. I mean, he had a phenomenal amateur world champion. I watched this. I was actually at the call when he fought Bundu. It was a good card actually that night. I watched him fight Barnes, Welburn, and then obviously Witter.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his career, which basically sort of springboarded his career. Really, I mean, what was it? 2011 he fought Woodhouse, something like that.
So 2000 or 2012. I think it was 2012 they fought.
Right. How long had Curtis Woodhouse been boxing up until then?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't have been long. What was it? I know it was a unanimous decision. I can't remember the fight off the top of my head, but you know, Frankie's regressed so much. You know, where potentially, you know, Curtis could still, you know, there's still a bit of fight left in him. I wouldn't be surprised if Woodhouse beat him, to be honest. But when you look at this run that Frankie's had, lost to Bundu, lost to Kelbrook, which is no great, you know, that's no great shame. And then he got blitzed by Eggington. But his quality of opponent, when he beat Skeet back in 2014.
That was the night that Fury Chisora 2.
Yes.
So
the Docklands somewhere, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good fight. It's a good fight for Woodhouse. It's a real credible opponent in Frankie Gavin. You know, listen, if Gavin loses to Woodhouse, well, whoever loses, career over.
Done. Yep.
If either of them lose to each other, then they're done. They're both done. But you know, I like Curtis Woodhouse. He does it. You know, he's now hobby is probably not the wrong word. You know, I like the way he keeps wanting to test himself, and you know, you think he went away and he'd had enough, and he was slightly disillusioned with it. But he's the kind of guy that has to be doing something, and he's a decent enough operator.
Yeah.
And a win over Frankie Gavin, you know, he's the one that would have everything to lose, really. You know, a win over Frankie Gavin for Curtis, you that puts him into some big fights.
You're right. Very quickly, Khan, Brook, Mayweather. Khan talking about how he thinks if Mayweather came back, he should fight him because he thinks speed could cause a problem, and he said that Canelo's right hand was basically, he was a power punch, and that's why he was at boxing for 4 rounds until he got nailed. Well, now he's talking about Kell Brook. What are your thoughts?
Wants Mayweather because he needs money. Because his missus is about to fleece him for more or less everything he's got. Of what his family's left him, because they fleeced him. I feel sorry for him. Terribly advised in his life. Kid was a good boxer, took too many risks, and he's another one. Everybody got on the hype train. I actually thought British Prescott had every chance of beating him when he fought.
I won £250 from that night, by the way.
Yeah. That wasn't a shock for me. That the writing was on the wall. Again, you heard that Cam was going over in sparring, and he had dodgy whiskers. When they used to bring in real sort of decent operators to give him some high quality sparring, he always struggled. Listen, he's got incredibly fast hands, but and he's got great output. But he doesn't have any power at elite level. These guys that he's attempting to mix it with. But I think Brook dismantles him. I think he'll do exactly what he always does. Rather than just keep it long, right, and use his speed, so into the pocket, unload, get out, move him around, reset his feet, unload. No, he can't help himself. He's got to stand and trade.
And then he'll get nailed.
Chin. And if he had a good chin,
it'd be amazing.
He would take some beating, but he just doesn't have any chin at all. And Brook can bang. Brook give Golovkin while it lasted a good fight. Speed's always can. Power, accuracy, feet for me are with Brook, and eventually just Brook will catch up with him and knock him out. But you don't want that fight. Spencer Fearing him. He made every excuse going at why he don't want it. Oh, Brook needs to have some fights. I need to have some fights. That's risk, right? If Brook doesn't get say he wants Mayweather, right? Listen, I'd love to fight Mayweather. It means I'd get like a fucking $5 million check. I get my absolute brains coming out of my ear rolls. I'd fight him for $5 million quid. You know what I mean? Of course they will want to fight Mayweather. McGregor wanted to fight Mayweather. He got, what did he earn out of that? £100 million? Ridiculous. Mayweather. So yeah, I don't. Who else can fight to generate the kind of money he wants? Because people going to seriously pay 20 odd quid pay per view and fill a 40,000, 50,000.
Thurman, Garcia too.
He gets blitzed by both of them.
Of course he does. Yeah, he gets blitzed by both of them.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's a nice enough kid. He's just absolutely, and he's just deluded.
What about a catchweight fight between him and Varinder Singh?
Yeah, what's Singh fighting at?
I think he's middle. He's middleweight, or super middle, one or the other.
Yeah, 160. Yeah, wasn't he the guy that was involved with Box Nation early on?
Yeah, he was. I think he still is. I'm not sure.
Is he still unbeaten? No,
yeah.
He got beat, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he got beat. I didn't rate him. I went to a few of them Box Nation cards, and Francis Warren was going absolutely Billy O about him, saying he's this, that, and the other. And I sat and I watched 4 or 5 of his fights, and I thought, I didn't see any. He's amazing, and everybody rants and raves about him in sparring. So I'd watch him again, and I watched him. Yeah, so I wasn't surprised. Actually, I think I watched the fight on YouTube that he got beaten. But yeah, in terms of money, that's a mega fight.
They said he's not. From what I heard, he wasn't dedicated. I don't know. All I heard, he's not dedicated. He's more of a movie star than he's a boxer. So that's what people are saying about him. So that's his own fans saying that. So
Amir Khan.
No, they're talking about Verinda's still unbeaten. He
Yeah,
said he had a close fight last time out, but still undefeated. So he's still unbeaten, Verinda's thing, but he left Warren.
Right. Okay.
So maybe the contract came to an end. I don't know. All right. Well, I've got to love and leave you, Chris, because I've got Abel Sanchez in less than 10 minutes.
Sweet as. Say hello to the legend for me, and I'll speak to you soon, enough.
Chris, as always, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports, and we love to have you back again soon.
Will do. Take care, pal.
Take care, champ. Okay, like I said, join us back here in less than 10 minutes, and we'll have Gennady Golovkin trainer and Gassiev trainer Abel Sanchez live and exclusive on BWTM Sports. See you in a moment.